Hi everyone, Jane here. Thank you so much for watching today. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the KingArt mixed media gel sticks. It's a mouthful, isn't it? I bought these recently. I've seen them used in other YouTubers' videos, in particular Denise Love, who I really enjoy her work, and I liked the fact that these seem to be something that had the consistency of an oil pastel, which I like the idea of, but they dry, and they dry within 24 hours. So that really appealed to me. So I wanted to have a look at them, see what they were like. I couldn't get them. I could only get the set of the metallic ones here in the UK. So I had to order these from Amazon from the US. So they came really rather quickly. So they came within probably a week, which I thought was pretty good. And I got the set of 48. Now these do also include the metallics, which I wasn't that bothered about having. I'm not a big metallics fan, but they were within the set. So this is the box that they came in. It's a little bit beat up, but it was fine. I don't mind. And I'll just go through information about what they are, and we'll have a look at the colours. I've got a swatch sheet ready in my Lightwish swatch book. This is the one that has 36 spaces. So what I have done is I have written out a swatch for all the main colours, so not the metallics. So all the sort of the what can I call them? Your normal colours. I'll just call them normal colours, not the metallic ones. I'll do a little separate thing with the metallic ones on a separate bit of paper, but I just want my main colours on my swatch sheet, and then it fits nicely in the pad as well, so I don't have to worry about getting the massive one out, which will then only be half filled, and it won't fit on the screen. So that's what I'm going to do as well. I will speed that up, so we'll talk about them in real time. I'll do the swatches in time lapse because you don't need to see me individually do them one at a time in real time. Then what I thought I would do is I have got together a few other products and I'm going to compare. So I have got some Tempera paint sticks, I've got the Gelato gel stick, distress crayon and oil pastel, so that we can have a little look at comparing how they work, what they do. This is not a full-on review. I'm not doing this for any scientific, or I haven't really researched this. This is just my impressions. So if you want to find out more about these products, I would always advise you go to the manufacturer, go to other YouTubers who are more experienced in these sorts of things. Like look at a range of reviews, a range of different people using them to see if they suit you, because these things all cost money. They all end up looking a little bit similar, which is why I sort of didn't purchase them for so long, because I thought, are they just going to be like everything else I've got? I don't mind too much. For me, art and craft is an important part of my life, and I don't do any other massive hobbies. So for me, I don't mind spending the money on this hobby, and I use the money I get from doing YouTube to sort of fund that. But obviously if you have got a limited budget and you really want to make the most of what you have, knowing what they do and how they compare to other similar products could be quite important to you. So I'll have a little go at doing some comparison, but like I say, I'm not an expert, so please don't take my word 100%. Mine is just my impressions. What I have also done on here is this is the Strathmore soft cover mixed media book, but it is 100% cotton. So on this side I have done it straight onto the paper. I got really confused when I was drawing lines. So I've divided it into 6, even though there's only 5. But then I thought, I do a lot of mixed media and I use gesso and things in page. Now I know that as soon as I do this, there will probably be somebody out in the world who will say, you should not be using gesso in this way. I'm going to be very blunt. I use my products however I want. I have paid for them the same as you pay for your products. If you want to just splosh them onto an old tea towel, that's your business. There is no, as far as I am concerned, I'm sure in the art world there are right and wrong ways of using things, and there are better ways to use things. But I am doing this for fun. This is not going on a gallery wall. This is not being sold. This is for my enjoyment. So if I want to put gesso on a page and put oil pastels on the top, I will do. And I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but, well, am I sorry it offends anybody? Well, if that offends anybody, well then that's just the way it is. I will use my products how I want to. So I wanted to see how they would react on gesso. It might not be the so-called right way, but it's useful for me, and it might be useful for other people, because sometimes if you're using gesso, clear gesso in your work to prime, knowing how these products react with that is actually quite helpful. So I have got a page where I have primed it. You might hear it, because it's got a little bit of a textured surface. This is with the Liquitex Professional Clear Gesso. It is quite, I wouldn't say it was gritty, but it does have a definite texture. You can get much smoother gessos if that's your preference. I quite like having that texture. I feel that it's going to grab things better. I don't know if that is the way or not. And then on this page, there is nothing on the background. This is just straight onto the 100% cotton paper. I could have used watercolour ground as well, maybe, and tested what that was like, but I didn't overly see, the point in that. And also, I know that gesso is probably something that people may have more than they would have a watercolour ground. So I wanted to use things that maybe people would have in their crafting stash already. So that's what we'll do afterwards. So we'll start off just by having a look at what's in the box. So it's 48 comfort grip gel sticks, soft buttery texture, rich vibrant colours, odourless, non-toxic, storage cases included, and not shown to actual size. So you're not getting little itty bitty gel sticks. That just makes me laugh every time. So on the back it gives you a bit more information. It gives you all the colour names. They do actually have colour names on the gel sticks, and it tells you the colour names here, which is something the Tempera paint sticks by Shuttleart don't have. They don't have colour names. It doesn't bother me because I'm just using them in a very random way. But if that's something that is of interest to you, then they do have them. They have like codes. I don't know if that is helpful to anybody. And it's vibrant colour gel sticks, glide easily over canvas, paper, wood and more. Our mixed media gel sticks are made of water-soluble wax with a soft, buttery texture. The rich colours blend smoothly and easily and are light, fast, odourless, non-toxic and transparent. Work wet or dry to produce stunning results. They are the perfect complement to any mixed media project, hassle-free setup and mess-free cleanup. Storage cases included to keep sticks organised. And there's a little bit about KingArt there. They are designed in New York but made in China, and they conform to ASTM D4236. Okay, so that's the sticks information there. It says about them being light, fast. That's not something that is of a bother to me because I'm doing things in books and stuff and it's for my own pleasure, but I don't know, what degree of light fastness testing would have been done. I know a lot of people do their own, but it's not something that really particularly interests me. Now this is how they come. You come in 4 carry cases of 4 lots of 12, and I have already moved the silver and the gold, which were in amongst the other colours, into the rest of the metallics, and moved the black and white into these 3, so that I have a separate case that is just the metallic colours, and I have written on it with a Sharpie pen just so I know that those are the metallics. Otherwise I will keep getting them a little bit muddled, so I didn't want that to be the case. So I'm going to put the metallic ones aside. They're roughly in sort of, like in colour groups. So we've got here, we've got the yellows, oranges, reds and pinks. So they have these little clippies. I find these quite stiff. I don't know whether I'm going to keep, I think I probably will keep them in the cases because it just keeps them going. But they are, I'm hoping that over time, oh my goodness, these are going to become easier to open because they are quite hard. They're not got like individual compartments for them. They are just laid in there. So let's pick out a nice bright colour. So here it says on it that this is Rose GS021. I quite like it. It reminds me, well, it's sort of got the same like idea in terms of how, you know, it's fashioned as the distress crayons do, but the distress crayons are a lot thinner. Just straight away looking at the amount at the top there. Yeah, you've got a little bit more diameter to the KingArts. The distress crayons sort of go from the bottom, go down like that, put that back on, clip that back on. These ones you twist, I think, from this, like the middle part. And let's see how far it will go without me hopefully dropping it somewhere. So we get twisting, 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 twisting. Ooh, I'm really worried. Is it going further? I think it's going further. I don't want it to fall out. Are we saying about that much? So what is that? Let's get a ruler. So that is about 5.5 centimetres, which is just over 2 inches. So it may come out a little bit more than that. I don't want to risk it, and then so I can then just put it back down. There we go. And I think they have them to about there, but they do actually go further in. They go right into there, but I think they're up to about there when you get them. So that's how they look and how they work. They've got a nice little like grip bit there. I like them. They're a bit chunkier than the distress crayons. I quite like that chunkiness, but they've got that chunkiness so you feel like they're substantial, but they've got a little bit more refinement in their shape than the Tempera paint sticks and the Gelatos do, which I quite like because I feel like you would hold it more as a pen or a brush. You know, it's got that little bit more refinement to it. So what I will do is, I don't know, did that go there? I will go through and swatch all the colours out first, and then we will have a look at how they feel to lay down against the other products as well, and what we can do with them. So we'll try smudging them, we'll add water to them, and we'll just see if we can maybe blend a couple of colours together, see if that works nicely as well, and see how they act. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so here are all the colours. We got tan, lemon, primrose yellow, yellow, Naples yellow and orange. Then we got pale vermilion, red, scarlet, rose, pink and dark pink. We have maroon, which I don't think is really a maroon, it's more of a red violet. Purple, deep navy, ultramarine, cobalt blue and blue. Then we have pale turquoise, violet, pale blue, aqua green and turquoise. We have light green, grass green, green, dark green, olive green and light brown. And then the last row who wanted to try to escape me were brown, dark brown, iron grey, and then I have put the white and the black in with those. So those are the colours that are not the metallics. And there are also these metallics, so we've got things like metallic dark green, metallic blue, metallic dark blue, I guess that's metallic purple. So you've got that set as well, and the silver and the gold. I might take a look at those another time. I don't know if I'll do them today. Well, we might stick a few in there. So they felt nice and buttery as you were putting them down. They did feel nice. The stick feels really nice in the hand. I haven't done anything with them apart from putting the colour down, and I put 2 layers down just because I want this to just be a representation of the colour. I'm not trying to see what they do at this point. This was just so that I have a record. If I want to say, okay, what was the purple like, then I can see. So I will leave this open like this for the next 24 hours to hopefully see if they dry, which apparently they do. They dry within 24 hours, so we'll leave that to dry. And then we have got an orange. Right, I'm going to find the orange gel stick. And then I have got, I'm going to do these up, that one up. I've got some orange in all of these other mediums. So I have got an orange Tempera paint stick. That's from the classic colour selection. These are by Shuttleart. I have the Spiced Marmalade Distress Crayon. This is Tim Holtz Ranger. I think they still make these. Mine are quite old. To be honest, I bought them I didn't buy the whole colour range. I only bought the first few sets with the colours that I like the most. I haven't overly used them, I will have to admit. I have got the Mango Faber Castell Gelato. Again, well, I always think I don't use these very much, but actually when I then get them out, I usually find I've used quite a lot of the colour. So I have over the years used them, but they do last you quite a long time, especially if, like me, I like to have lots of different mediums rather than with maybe a more limited colour range than lots and lots of one colour medium in every colour, if that makes sense. And then I have the oil pastel by Mungyo. This is the Gallery oil pastel. And I am going to admit, I have hardly used it. I think I used them to swatch. I might have used them for one other thing. The main issue I have with oil pastels is this thing about them not drying. I have bought the Sennelier oil pastel fixative, but I find the whole thing a bit of a faff. So if these can give me a similar feel but without that faffiness, then I will that will be a win for me. So that's why I've got the wax paper out, just to stop these getting, because I do find them very messy. I don't mind messiness, you know. I do mixed media. I'm quite happy to get my mediums out and have a mess, but there's just something about oil pastels that I do find a little bit more tricky. So those are the 5, and I've gone for the similar colour just so that we can see, you know, what they all do, but not worrying about the colour. So this is the KingArt gel stick. Now already, just by doing that little swatch, it has taken that down a bit. So I wanted to see how opaque they all are, so that's why I put this black pen mark here. I'm going to start with doing these ones over here. So let's just do it with a bit of a colour swatch on here. so we can see. They're not particularly opaque. Then we can just do a little bit of a smudge and see how they work with a bit of a smudge. They do smudge a bit. And then I wanted to see how they work with water, because it does say you can use them with and without water. So let's just use this brush because it's there. Let's have a look. Yeah, and now remember, this is on the uncoat, like this is just straight onto the paper. So that's quite nice, quite good. It comes out quite nicely. So that's the KingArt gel stick. I'll do some blending on a separate page. And then we've got the Tempera paint stick, that's here. So this is the Tempera paint stick. Obviously they're not going to be exactly the same. So this is to see how opaque, and again, not particularly opaque. Can we smudge it? Oh, it's got a bit of a dirty mark on. Let's use a different finger. And if you're quick, you can get a bit of smudginess out of it, but these do dry very, very quick. And the same, I think, if with water, they are water reactive, but because they dry so quickly, you do have to be very, very fast to get any colour out of them. I'd say they're a bit less able to be reactivated with water than the gel stick. That sort of watered out and didn't leave that sort of big bit there that one did. Then we have the Gelato. I do love gelatos. I just don't use them as much as I should. This looks a little bit more opaque to me, but that might just be me. Let's see how they smudge. Let's try a different finger. Good job I've got so many fingers. They're quite nice and smudgeable. In fact, I would say they're probably the most smudgiest. And then how do they react with water? Got lots of crumbs coming off of this though. That's something else with the oil pastels and things. I don't overly like all the crumbs you get from them. So this is how water reactive they are. And they are very water reactive. That's really blending out quite nicely. Then the next one is the Distress Crayon. Let's see. So these are a lot thin. So in terms of price, I won't go into like which ones are potentially, you know, the best value for money. I have looked at them before in price. I don't know why I'm putting the lid on an old video. I'll try and link that video at the end and put it in the description box as well. This doesn't show up really at all on the black there, I would say. So let's see how I'm running out of fingers. That feels a little bit harder to blend out with your finger by smudging it. And then let's see how it reacts with water. Now I've never found these particularly great if you just put them straight down onto paper for reactivating with water, as you can see there. But I do find them different when you add gesso to the page. So we've got oil pastel, the most opaque of them all. Let's see how that. I have to use my thumb, or I could use my other finger actually, can I? They're nice and smudgeable. Get quite a nice smudge from that. And I think we should be able to guess whether they're water reactive, as they're an oil pastel. They shouldn't react. And no, they don't react with water because they're made, you know, of oil. So, you know, I'm not making any judgment. I think every product has its place in different ways. Now I'm going to just quickly wipe my hands, because if I'm going to redo them over on the gessoed side, I do want to have clean fingers. There we go. So let's go back then. Let's move that over that way a little bit to the KingArt. Now this is now on gesso, so there's just clear gesso on here. So I'm just testing now smudgeability and water reactiveness. So smudgeability, probably about the same. Water reactivity, much better with the gesso underneath. That's watering that totally out for that. Put that one back that side. Tempera paint stick. Right, I won't put, I'll just do it straight away because I know that the tempera paint's, oh, dirty. Excuse that dirty mark on there. That I think smudges better with the gesso underneath, and you can get a lot more movement if you have gesso on the page, which makes sense because it's like a primer. It's giving, you know, a bit more grippiness. The gelato, probably about the same, I would say. And let's see how that goes with the water. I don't know why I'm putting them. I'm putting them there so that I know which ones I've done. Again, with the gesso underneath, that's really made a big difference to how they water out. Distress crayon. Which fingers have I used? I haven't used this one. To be fair, I think with the smudgingness, I don't think it makes an awful lot of difference what's underneath. But I think definitely if you want to water out your products, having gesso as a base is going to make a big difference. Now I know that this is one that even Tim Holtz has said, if you put gesso down, you get a much more water reactive product. I mean, it depends how you want it to look. Obviously, if you don't want that totally watered out, if you want that more solid sort of line, then you wouldn't be watering it out anyway. All right, let's go with this one. I don't know why I'm doing this because it's not going to make any difference to an oil pastel, because oil pastels aren't going to react with water because that's the nature of being an oil pastel. But if that's a feature you want, then, you know, that's how, you know, a good thing for you. Now I've just got to get rid of some of that water there because that's very, very wet. See how well that has now reactivated, like activated that. Very different with the distress crayon, and that is something that is a known thing for distress crayons. Very much a better reaction with water if you put gesso down first, but they all, the ones that are water reactive, do water out better if you put gesso down first. But like I said, some people would say you shouldn't be doing that, but you know, it's up to you. If that's what you want to do in your work, you do it. That's what I say. Right, so I will let this dry and then we'll have a quick little play with some of the metallics, and then I think that will be our play session with the KingArt for the moment done. Okay, so what I thought I'd actually do, rather than doing it in the book, I've just got a piece of mixed media cardstock here just to try out these different metallics. And then I've also got the primrose yellow and the blue from the normal colours to have a little test to see if they mix well. So I'm just going to quickly just basically go through the colours. So we got gold, silver, metallic red orange. So I suppose this is, oh, I was going to say like a rose gold, but it's more of a pink. This one might be more of a rose gold. Metallic copper. Well, it's not rose gold, but I would have said that was more of a rose gold actually. Now, with my Tempera paint sticks, I actually gave the metallics to nursery. Metallic dark pink, but with these I won't because they are a slower drying product. Metallic pink. Metallic light purple. Metallic purple. Metallic dark blue. Should we go under there? Metallic blue. Metallic dark green. I would have called that more of like a spearmint. And metallic green. Or maybe that one's more of a spearmint, more of a mint. So those are the metallic colours. They're quite nice. I might use them, I suppose, as little accents. Let me bring that up to you. If you can see a little bit of the metallic-y vibe going on. And then let's have a little go at seeing if we can mix some colours together. So we got the blue. Oh yes, that mixes nicely actually. So you can mix your colours together as well. I have to say I love the feel of them. They've got a nice feel when you lay them down. Also because you've got that more streamlined shape than you have with maybe the Tempera paint sticks, you can, you know, get a little bit more of a refined line, I feel. Let me get the Tempera paint sticks. Yeah, see with the paint stick, I mean you can go on the edge, but it does, because you've got a shorter body. But I mean this is good for like if you want to do really splodgy old things, and this is why I gave the metallic ones to children, because these were basically, these are designed for children to use. Whereas these are more of a professional level. I don't know if they're considered professional level, but they're certainly more aimed at artists. So now I'm just playing around now, aren't I? Let's see, let's add a little bit of yellow in there. So yeah, they're fun. I like them. I think I'm going to enjoy these. Do I need them? Of course not, but do we need anything? This is the question. But they look like they'll be fun. I think I will get good use out of these, and I'm debating whether to, I'm thinking I do need to leave them in these cases, but these cases are actually going to annoy me. I feel that is so stiff. I might take them out, but then I quite like them in the colour families. It's keeping them together. I don't know. Let me know. What do you think? Should I keep them in the cases? Should I empty them from the cases? Or, you know, I don't know. What do you think? Oh, there's that one as well. So that's the 48 KingArt gel sticks. What I will do is in my next video that comes up, I'm going to do like an abstract grid journal type page, because I haven't done that in a little while, and I will include the gel sticks within that, probably as a finishing touch, to try them out within a mixed media type sort of environment. Is that the right word? I'm not sure. But thank you ever so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, do please like, hype, subscribe, comment, all the things that really help YouTube to know that this video is liked and that people want to see more of this sort of thing, and then they will push it more, hopefully. And until the next time, bye bye.